The past year has felt so wild, right? Like hard and good and a lot of chaos. And if you're like me, the morning routine that you have for your day is everything. It's how we figure out what comes next. It's how we practice gratitude and center ourselves. And it is how we lay out our priorities and figure out where we're going. If you haven't yet built a morning routine, I want to make sure you know about the Start Today brand. It is a collection of gorgeous journals and planners that help center you, help you practice gratitude, help you set goals and stay focused in the midst of chaos. And in the case of the planner, it helps you break apart those big, gigantic dreams into achievable bite-sized pieces. You can find out more at starttoday.com. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Rachel Hollis podcast. I'm Rachel Hollis. That feels sort of obvious, but just in case you were confused, this week I am going to dig into a topic that feels incredibly important for those of you who are entrepreneurs, you've got a side hustle, you've got a small business, or you just want this to be the year that you are actually going to do the thing. You're actually going to create the podcast, you're actually going to write the book, you're actually going to get it done. Today, we're talking about productivity. Specifically, I want to share a teaching that I did in a recent coaching session where I explained how I figured out what to focus on in my business. I talk about the 80-20 principle and how to get laser sharp direction on what is going to produce the most results. Because here's the thing, whenever we're trying to chase down a dream or build upon a goal, it's really easy to work super hard but not make any traction. I don't know if you've ever done that where you've gotten to the end of a year and you're like, dang, I worked my butt off, but I didn't actually achieve any of the stuff I set out to. I think that happens because we work really hard, but we work hard on things that don't actually matter. So today I'm going to share all about how to figure out what to do next. What is the next right thing that's going to take your dream, your goal, your business to the next level? Also, just want to make sure you know about what's coming up later this week because I'm so excited. On my other podcast, Your Faves Faves, I am interviewing Brad freaking Paisley, you guys, and he's talking all about his favorite women in country music, and it was such a fun conversation, and I know you're going to dig it as much as I do, so make sure you check that out. It premieres on Thursday this week. But until then, here is, I hope, a really helpful lesson about how to get productive. Hi, I'm Rachel Hollis, and this is my podcast. I spend so many hours of every single week reading and listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos and trying to find out as much as I can about the world around me. And that's what we do on this show. We talk about everything, life and how to be an entrepreneur. What happened to dinosaurs? What's the best recipe for fried chicken? What's the best plan for intermittent fasting? What's going on with our inner child? How's therapy working out for you? Whatever it is my guests are into, I want to unpack it so that we can all understand. These are conversations. This is information for the curious. This is the Rachel Hollis podcast. Summer for me looks like getting outside, traveling, and if you're like me, Allbirds has something that might help with that. The Tree Runner will help you tread lighter wherever this spring takes you. The Tree Runner's premium natural materials are light on your feet and light on the planet. Allbirds has also printed the Tree Runner's carbon footprint right on the shoe, so you know its impact on the planet. Then they offset that footprint to 0 to make it a carbon neutral product. My favorite Tree Runner is the white on white because I honestly wear them when I'm on the go and I feel like they really complete an ensemble and they're super comfy. This spring, stay light and breezy with the Allbirds Tree Runner. Find your pair at allbirds.com today. That's ALLBIRDS.com. ebbe8a0.com. The first part is knowing where it is you want to go. Second part is knowing what's it actually going to take you to get there. I can do this all day. I can be like, if I don't eat, if I don't parent, if I don't shower or shave, if I, because I get these grandiose, I'm like, I'm going to write 6 books before January, right? Could I do it? Yes. Is it worth what it would cost me? No. So you have to start with what's it going to take? And now we can make a realistic assessment of, do I want to bring that number down a little bit? Do I want to pull this back in a certain way? Because some of us are in seasons where, we can go all in. Maybe you're an empty nester, right? Maybe your last bird just flew out of the nest. She's in college. She's rushing her sorority. We will pray for her, right? But you've got some time on your hands. So you're able to go super hard on the business that you have because you have more free time. And maybe someone else, you've got a 1-year-old. And so this isn't the season where you're going to be able to go and sprint as hard as you wish that you could. But at least now you know what's possible, and we can make a more informed assessment of what we want to do by the end of the year. As a business owner, I'd approach it in 2 ways. One, I'd get real hardcore about money because frankly, that's what matters to me, right? And then I think, okay, what does steady mean? So steady to me means that regularly people are coming every single time. We've got that consistency. I think email lists is a fantastic way to do that. I want you to associate the word steady with the word automation. Steady, automation. Automation, if you're not super familiar with digital marketing, are what are things that you can schedule in advance that you can batch your work, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and you don't have to actually pull the trigger to make that email go. Bree could go in and do 6 weeks worth of emails for her audience, automate it. She just was like, calm down, Rachel. She could though. She could batch her work. She could schedule it. And then she doesn't have to think of email at all for the next 6 weeks, but she's got something steady that's going out to her community. So by focusing in on the results, to me, it's like this, I'm working on the wrong things. I want to talk about the 80-20 principle before we go further. This is something that has been around forever. Is everyone familiar? It's okay if you're not. Great. Lots of people are not. Thank you for your honesty. The 80-20 principle it's also called Pareto's principle. It's just been around forever. There's a bajillion books on it. I brought the book that I first read on it back in the day. It's literally called the 80-20 principle. Richard Koch is there you go, if you want to go read this. You can absolutely buy this book, but this principle is easy enough that you are going to be able to get it really easily, and you don't need to dig into this book unless you just really want to, because honestly, again, that's kind of another thing. One of the pitfalls I fall into with productivity is research. I can research the crap out of something, so better just listen to mom. I'll tell you what it means. You don't need to read the book. But I do want to read just a little snippet of this because it's kind of the Cliff's Notes version of what 80-20 principle is. The 80-20 principle asserts that a minority of causes, inputs, or effort usually lead to a majority of the results, outputs, or rewards. Taken literally, this means that, for example, 80% of what you achieve in your job comes from 20% of the time that you spend. So a good benchmark for this imbalance is 80% of outputs result from 20% of inputs. 80% of consequences flow from 20% of causes. It's why at the beginning of the year when we talked about profit, I talked about Pareto's principle a lot. I promise you that if you went through your P&L and you looked at what makes you money, we all have all sorts of offerings, right? 20% of what you offer to your customers or your clients makes up 80% of your profit. 20% of what you spend your time on is actually 80% of the results that you're looking for. And why that matters is because if you can identify the 20% and you put all your effort into the 20%, your business will explode. You don't even know what happens. You want to know my 20%? When I figured this out 3 years ago, what's my 20%? It's writing. When I write, it's my thing. If I write a book, if I write a post, if I spend the majority of my time writing, everything explodes. And I am telling you, if you went back in my Amazon cart and you looked at when I bought this, you would find that it was a year before I wrote Girl Wash Your Face. Like a year before Girl Wash Your Face came out. When I was like, oh, I'm doing the thing, I'm marketing, I'm making the blog, I'm this, I'm that, I'm whatever. And then I had to step back. It's very similar to the book, The One Thing. Y'all read The One Thing by Gary Keller, an incredible book. It's the same idea. What's the one thing that if you put your time and energy into that, everything else becomes obsolete because you did this thing. And people hesitate on this because they're like, wait, the other stuff matters, right? Like, I gotta pay the bills. I gotta make sure the toilet's clean. Yes, I wish this was a perfect world. We could snap our fingers and all of a sudden you get to put 100% effort into that thing. It's not the reality. But do you know the exponential results you would have if you even put 50% of your effort into this? If you just got more focus. See, right now, there are those of you who are like, I got to post on Pinterest. I got to put the thing on Instagram. I got to send out the email. And if you step back and ask yourself, what is actually working in my community? It's hard for people because they're like, oh, dude, what's actually working is email, not Instagram, not Facebook, not LinkedIn, not Pinterest. But everybody says that social media matters. No, dude, it's about what is effective for your business. How have you gotten the most clients to come into your space? Speaking engagement. Yes. So when she has speaking engagements, which by the way, 75 people were like, where's this space? I'm interested, right? So it's a thing. Yeah. And do y'all follow Sharice Jones? Yes. You guys know Sharice Jones? Sharice at Sassy Jones Boutique's become a very sweet friend of ours. Love her to death. She is killing social media as a personality. And here's the thing. So, oh, do you? Perfect. She's amazing and so pretty. It hurts my feelings. So for something like that, like you said, speaking engagements. And what I immediately thought of is how do you tap into a bit of what Sharice is doing? I don't have a phone. Turn on your phone and start speaking to the world. Yeah. Start, go live. Like
I ugly cried the other day.
Great. Perfect. Right? But like, how do you instead of like, cause maybe email's great, yeah. But if you're like, no, dude, I know that when it's me, cause this was Sharice is saying, she used to try and use models. And she's like, but when I put on the necklace, when I put on the sunglasses, people bought. Don't fight the power, man. Like if it's working, just do the thing that works. Okay. So, sorry, I get really excited about this. Stop it. So 80-20 principle, I just wanted to touch on that so that you guys would consider what's the one thing that you could be doing right now that would give you more results. Summer's here, and with all of the fun adventures and a vacation that I get to take and exciting things on the horizon, I also don't want to lose sight of taking care of my health. It is one of the core values in my life, and a huge part of that is getting enough sleep. Not just getting enough sleep, but getting great sleep. It's why I switched to a Sleep Number mattress, oh my gosh, so many years ago, because I wanted to have control over my sleep. I remember being really excited to figure out my sleep number, which is 45, by the way, because I like a little bit of softness, and also loving the features that, could warm up the mattress if I was cold or elevate the mattress if I wanted to read. So if you are like me and health and sleep are something that you really value in your life, it's worth considering if the mattress you have matches the value that you have. It is an investment to have a good mattress, but it's one that pays in dividends. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. And right now, there are special offers for a limited time only at Sleep Number stores or at sleepnumber.com/rise. Usually in business, I think the result that you're looking for is financial. So I go through my P&L and I say, what are those things? What are those brands? What are those products that brought in the most profit? Not revenue, profit, not revenue. If you're not familiar with the differences, go back and rewatch coaching from January. We got all into profit versus revenue. So you start by identifying what is bringing you the most profit. That's your 20%. And then you go hard on those things. And if that didn't answer your question, explain to me why you're confused about what your 20% is. If you're just starting a business or you're unsure, the 80-20 thing doesn't necessarily apply to you yet, and that's okay. You're gonna have to go through the steps that we all go through when we start a business. So focus on the ones that are most important. Right? So, again, I always ask this question, like isn't someone here in the newbie stages? Yeah. So you're new. So when we're starting a business, we're like, I need a website, I need email, I need this, and all of those things take so much time. Really, what you need to be in business is to make money. So the question is to ask yourself, what is necessary for me to get clients, to bring in customers? Do I need the product to sell? Do I need the space for them to come into? Do I need a website? Do I need a portfolio? Your list when you start out is going to be a little bit longer than some of us who've been in business for a while who can really narrow in. But you can identify what's going to get you further faster. And that's like, what will actually help me make money right away? Okay, so we talked about the distractions that are unavoidable. Lots of you talking about, yeah, I got some kids up in this house. Of course, those are a gift. Those distractions are such a gift. You have to know what's going to throw you off. Because we can get all excited about productivity and have a plan when we walk out of here today, but then all of a sudden these things pop up, and if you're not prepared for them, it will take you so much longer to get back on track. Before we jump into roadmap, I thought it would be helpful if I talked to you about how I personally am the most productive. I made this up this morning. Let's pretend it's a real thing. I think when it comes to productivity, you are either a scalpel or a meat cleaver. I am a meat cleaver, okay? When I think of a scalpel, I think of something that does very intricate work, a little at a time, slowly but surely. So an example of this is there are writers who write 100 or 1,000 words every day. Every day of their life, 7 days a week, they wake up, they write 500 words, and then at some point they've got a finished book. I am not that kind. I'm not a scalpel. I'm a meat cleaver. I want to get 7 days and write as hard as I can, as fast as I can for a short period of time. That's awful. I want to do it all intense and hardcore and get it done. This is not necessarily healthy for your body, but I am telling you, this is how I work best. So the reason I bring that up is because you need to know, do you do a little bit at a time? Dave Hollis, he does a little bit at a time. He likes 500 words a day. At the end, he has a book. Mama likes to write a book in 2 weeks, and it's garbage and it's awful, but it's done. That's how I work best. So you have to ask yourself, how do you produce the best? And the easiest way to think of this is, what are times in your life where you were like, holy crap, I actually pulled it off. I got it done. I did the thing. Were you a scalpel? Were you a cleaver? Because as we think through how this maps out in our calendar, we need to know what's going to be best for us. So starting with a roadmap. If you don't know what I'm talking about with roadmap, you need to read Girl Stop Apologizing. Feels weird that you haven't yet. I'm going to be honest. You can grab it at your local library for free, but I talk all about the roadmap and how you achieve each step along the way. So I thought I would show you how I break this down with the goal that I'm going to achieve. I'm about to pull a cleaver. Is anyone here a scalpel? Okay, so when I'm going to do my cleaver, and then we're going to do you as a scalpel. Okay, so get your heart ready. Don't be afraid. Okay.
I'm a cleaver with a 2-year-old.
Yeah. I am too. Yes, but I'm glad you said that. So she said, I'm a cleaver with a 2-year-old. How does that work? I actually prefer this because I'm a mom, because I would rather have one hardcore crazy week where I'm getting it all done, then every single day be absent from where they are. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna show you my crazy thing. And then you guys are gonna watch this in real time. You watch me do this. So We climbed the mountain this weekend. I was like, I want to make a decision while I'm still in this state. I feel so powerful. What's going to be my thing? I need to really focus on what I want to get done. And something I've talked about, if you're at Rise Dallas, you heard me talk about this. I'm writing a screenplay. I've had this idea for a movie for like 4 years. I've been writing it in my head. In January, when I made the things I want to accomplish before the end of 2019, this movie's in my, and it's for me. This is not for the business. This could be total garbage. This is my creative outlet for me. This is something I want to do for myself. Even if nothing comes out of it, I promised myself that I would, and I do not break promises to myself. So I'm like, 4 months, this is almost the end of the year. I got to get this done. And what I have been doing for the last 2 months is a little bit here, a little bit there, and I hate it. And what I remembered when we were off, I was like, that's not how I work. How I work is hardcore, all the things. So the reason I'm telling you that is I will have a finished screenplay by next Friday. So it's a week and a half. I have 10 pages done. Watch me work, okay? Let me explain. So on your page 5, let me show you how this goes. 1, you have to define the goal. So I want you to write down on that one, define your goal. What's the thing that you want to do? And if you don't know for sure right now, just make something up just so you can practice. So for me, finished screenplay. See, everyone thinks I'm crazy, but this is literally how I've written every single book. Every book you've ever read by me was essentially written in like 3 weeks. 3 of the most miserable, awful, terrible weeks you've ever encountered, but that's how it works. Okay. The second thing that I forgot the most important. I think Friday is 9/6, okay? So the second thing that you have to do is to break that down into actionable steps. So here's how it looks for me. 9 days of writing is what I have available by 9/6. Hopefully I did that math right. Okay. So how I thought of that, am I doing that? Anyone on a calendar? Pretend it's right, okay? So how I broke this down was if I have 9 days, then I've got 7 days of writing plus 2 days of edits. Because you've got to get this granular with what it is you're trying to do. The second thing that I need to do is to create mile markers, which again, this is all in the book if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about. So for me, my mile markers are how do I break down the amount of things that I need to write into the days that I have to write them in. This is how Cleaver does it. We're gonna get to you in a minute. Okay, so how this looks in a screenplay is 14 pages per day. Which does not seem like a lot, but it's not like a book. Writing 14 pages of screenplay is actually insane per day. And then what I also wanted you to know is you could even get this specific. You could break this into hours if you have a goal that you're trying to achieve. So I could say, well, if I have to write 14 pages, then I need to make sure that I've got 2 pages done by 10 a.m. And I got to have 2 more pages done by 11 a.m. And I got to, do you see what I'm saying? When I write books, I get that crazy. I'm like, I have to do 8,000 words today. So I got to break 8,000 words down into 12 hours. You could do, thanks, that came back, Cameron. So you could break it down into hours. And then this is important. When you are creating your roadmap for how to achieve your goal, you also need to know, I hate the word distraction, but I can't think of another one right now. So what's going to distract you from this Cleaver style, all in, go crazy, get it done? So the one thing that I know that I have coming up is my son's birthday party this weekend. So I have already mapped out the fact that I have got to be present. I'm excited. I got to show up. There is no way that I would not be there for that. But that means that morning when I have a birthday party, I'm going to have to get up extra early on Saturday morning to make up the difference of the time that I need to be writing. Okay? So I know this is about something really specific, but you can see how I like cleavered it. How do you draw a cleaver? Or axe. This is how I cleavered the roadmap that I was doing there. And you watch. I will do it. I'm going to put it on social. This is my last thing that I have to do for Hollis this coaching today. And then starting tomorrow, I'm going to look like a monster. I'm going to write nonstop, and you are going to watch me do it. We get too comfortable. we get too comfortable, right? Like I have gotten super comfortable, which is crazy because I know I also push myself harder than a lot of people, but I also know that I can do more than I'm currently doing. And I also know that what is my value? My value, the most important thing, the thing that lights my heart on fire is writing. The crazy thing about writing is I never wanted it to be my job. I always wanted it to be my hobby. And so whatever this looks like for you, maybe the thing you need to be productive on this season is something that sparks joy. Is something that makes you happy. It's something you're like, man, I've been working like a dog. And if I spent the last 4 months of this year doing something that made me feel strong and beautiful, if I took tap dancing lessons, or I learned to ride a horse, or I learned to bake a scone, I don't know. It doesn't always have to be the $1 million. There are some seasons when you just need to do something for your heart. Okay. That being said, let's talk about Scalpel. Okay. Tell me what your business is.
In the creation process of postpartum fitness.
Postpartum fitness. Okay, great.
So not just solely about fitness, though. It's also all about the emotional healing as well as the physical healing.
Great.
So what I have here is finished my 8-week program. I already have the fitness side of it done, creating the emotional aspect, attaching with the physical aspect. So working on that.
So this is a program, like a digital course?
Eventually.
Okay.
I want to start in person first, just hearing the words of moms and working with them one-on-one to eventually develop the online program.
Great. Okay. So you are developing the program that you are then going to sell to an individual that you're going to coach.
Yes.
Okay. Let's pretend that none of this is here. Just if I was like your business coach, we're meeting for coffee right now. Okay. Have you considered that the emotional component will change based on the woman that you're speaking to? So it might be you putting effort into something that you don't necessarily end up using. Like I'm just thinking of when I was a wedding planner, I never submitted the same proposal twice because every bride was so different.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, because what I think about in business is what you need to do. Do you have clients yet?
No.
Okay, great. So what you need to do is, what do I need to get some paying clients? That's like, that to me is more important than the course that you're creating, because that might change. So, because if you can identify the end goal and get super hard about how do I get those clients, that's going to reveal a results list that you need in a way that you don't need the course to sell. So we do this this is from Girl Stop Apologizing, but this actually will totally help you get productivity. If you've never seen me do it, we're going to do it right now. Remind me of your name?
Gabrielle.
Okay. So Gabrielle, we're going to make an idea soup. Okay. We're going to make an idea soup. So tell me, and the idea with an idea soup is that you are brainstorming everything that you can think of that will get you to paying clients. You can figure out all the rest. You can figure out your social, you can figure out your business card, your website, but what do you actually need to, so just everything, brain dump on me. Everything you can think of right now that you need in order to get a paying client. Let's all help her. Let's help her. Let's try. I'm just going to write social.
Yeah, I mean,
email us.
Email. No wrong answers here. Guys at home, give me some.
Website, at least having the fitness portion done, completed, that they have something to do.
Okay. So
Content.
Fitness, content. That's great. What else? Guys at home, give me some ideas. What else do you need to get a client?
Networking.
Yeah, just like speaking, getting in front of people.
Speaking engagements.
Speaking. I would say that you need someone that they can talk to who has worked with you before. So when I was an event planner, you need testimonials.
Coaching. Sleep.
So let's see, to get paying customers, you need examples of your work or something that you can show. Like I'm thinking of back when I was an event planner, I had to be able to show them like, here's what a tablescape would look like. Here's pictures of an event that I've done.
Yeah.
So you need testimonials, but then you also need like a before and after or something that shows the results that you had before. You need referrals. See if you get any advertising.
Does she need anything to do with financials? Like the bank account it's going to go into, or taxes, or something.
I mean, that's the kind of thing you can totally, yes, watch. We'll add it. Thank you. And then I'll show you how this works. Anything else? I don't want you to get overwhelmed, because what I'm about to show you is that you actually don't need all the things that you think you need.
Yeah.
So do you need credentials? Someone said, right? Demographic, friend referrals, put flyers up at the gym, flyers up at the pediatrician's office. I love this, Julianne. I thought the same thing. Connections to hospitals, midwives, OBGYN. So here's all kinds of ideas, right? So this is how she is going. She probably needs some clients. She wants to make money, right? So there's all these sort of things. We talked about social, referral. Okay, great. And you could do this, and this could go on for ages, but here's how you narrow down a soup. This is how you create a roadmap. What are the 3 things, Gabrielle, that you absolutely have to have in order to make money off clients?
Off clients. Okay.
Like, to make some money. You're gonna make money in the last 4 months of this year, even if it's one client, $200, what do you actually have to have in place?
From this idea soup?
Yeah.
I mean, networking, like speaking to people, like talking to them.
So to me, I would think it's like, here's my idea. You can tell me if you think. So I think the content you're going to sell them, you need the content that you're going to sell them, right? I think that you need testimonials or refer, like these 2 things kind of go hand in hand to me. You need someone that they can talk to that says, yes, Gabrielle is incredible, right? And then I think that you need a place where people can go to see your work. Is that a website? Honestly, the easiest thing to me in the world would be to create an Instagram account, because that's where most moms are anyway. And you could do it yourself. You don't have to hire anybody, but you need some kind of presence. So for you, is that social or is that a website?
Social.
Okay, great. Perfect. So you need a thing to sell them. You need people to tell them that you are not crazy and that you do good work, and you need a place that she can go creep on you and see what you're all about and get your ideas, okay? So keep those in mind, guys. Okay. And we're gonna take our idea soup and we're gonna turn it into a roadmap that gets us to the result that we are looking for. So this is where we are, and this is where we wanna go. Making that money though. Okay, great. Now we had our 3 things. We had content, we had social, and then we had referrals, but testimonials to me is like the thing, because you could get clients from a lot of places, but I think if I'm going to hire you to work in that capacity, it would come because one of my friends told me that you were the person to talk to. So we're going to say testimonials, the social, and the content. Of those 3 things, we're going to start here at the end. What is the last thing that happens right before you start to make some money? Of those 3 things, testimonials,
The last thing
that you would need, content.
I would say testimonial.
Yeah. So content, testimonial, and social, right? So testimonial. Okay. So this is mile 3. Because we always break it down into 3 miles, just because it's cute words, not because it actually matters. You could call that literally anything. If you've been thinking about talking to a counselor or a therapist, it has never been easier to access that. When everything switched to virtual, it normalized the idea of virtual counseling, something that I have been talking to you guys about for years. BetterHelp is a longtime partner here on the podcast, and I love them because they assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. So it's not like you're just sort of trying to figure it out without any guidance, which is how so many people approach therapy for the first time. BetterHelp allows you to connect in a safe and private online environment, and you can start communicating with someone in less than 24 hours. It's not self-help, it's professional counseling. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, whatever feels good to you. They have licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, self-esteem, grief, anger. Anything you share is confidential, and it's always professional and affordable. I want you to start living a happier life today. And as a listener of my podcast, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting my sponsor, BetterHelp.com/rise. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rise. We all have patterns. We all have habits and rituals and things that we've done a million times before. And the incredible thing about understanding that is that a pattern can either help you to create the life you want to have, or a pattern can keep you in the life that you don't want to have. No matter how much you don't like the anxiety, no matter how much you don't like the bad relationship with your family, no matter how much you don't like these things, if you have patterns that pull you back down into them, you'll never be able to escape. So if you are feeling like you're stuck, if you're feeling like you're in a rut right now and you need something to kickstart and make change, I want to make sure that you know about my Inner Circle. Inner Circle is a monthly coaching program for personal development nerds like me. We pick a new topic every single month and we dive in. I share conversations I've had with members of the community and how they're struggling with that issue, and then give all sorts of ideas for how you can tackle it in your own life. Then we all meet up for a live Q&A where I answer your questions, we take a deeper dive. It is really the only chance to interact with me in that way, and I created it as an answer to something I used to have. I used to have a coaching program back in 2019, and so many people were asking, man, I really feel like I need this community. I need like-minded people. I need the accountability. I need this right now because I'm falling into old bad habits. So Inner Circle is that option. It's also something that is far less expensive than my conference. So it's $47 a month for an hour plus teaching and workbook, as well as an hour plus live Q&A every single month, and interaction within the community and access to all of my old classes and my old keynotes. It's a really fun program. So if you're a personal development nerd, or you kind of secretly want to be, check out the link in the show notes, and I hope you join us for this month's Inner Circle. Second mile. What's the thing that would happen right before you get a testimonial?
From the three things, I would say fitness content, social.
I would say that it's your social presence.
Okay.
Because the content that you create is what you put here. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And this, mile 1, is your content. So, starting with your content, which you already have. You've already got your fitness piece in place, right? It's finished. Mm-hmm. And so tell me what that looks like. What does that mean?
It's an 8-week course for anyone as early as 2 weeks postpartum. It's really the first thing postpartum, just helping women with posture, core, pelvic floor healing, all the things, and just letting them know that it's okay to be where they're at right now. But yeah, that's the main fitness part.
So is there, and you're imagining that you would sell emotional and fitness together?
It would just, yeah, it would be one package, but there's, the fitness element coupled with the emotional element.
So the reason that I ask is I think that you could be at this step already using the fitness the content that you have, because what I don't want you to do is spend, I'm assuming that creating that content took you a long time.
A little bit.
Yeah. So what I don't want you to do is spend the rest of the year creating the emotional component, which is something that you could add in later. Or frankly, most of the things we've added are a result of what the audience has told us that they wanted to hear from us. So you may do it and then you'll hear someone say, okay, I did this and I loved it, but my sister has a 2-year-old and she's never really, but it doesn't apply to her because she's not directly postpartum. Do you think you could do one that's for toddlers? So you could potentially spend all your time creating whole new content that she didn't ask for and then have to recreate it anyway. So I would start with the content that you're at and get to the social piece. You have Instagram already?
I do.
And you're like you're putting the stuff out there, you're telling them what you're all about?
Just
Right?
Yeah.
So what I would tell you is to start to make some money before the end of this year, which is an incredible goal. You need to be posting 5 times a day on that Instagram.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Totally. Look, this is what Cece and I do all day, right? Did you have a question?
Yeah, so when you say that, posting 5 times a day, are you meaning actually static post or in your stories? Or like,
Yes.
Because, some people are like, oh, you're not a crackhead posting. 'Cause I post all the time. People said I'm crackish. And
Depends on what you're posting. So we could post 5 times a day, but it won't be the same kind of thing. Maybe one's a picture of me, one's a quote that we thought you might like, one's a video piece. So the genre, that's not the right word, the format of what I'm posting changes.
Okay.
And here's the difference. Here's how it doesn't feel crackheadish. Everything that we're posting is supposed to be for you.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, they just say they just constantly see me on their timeline, like on their feed.
So
Like they always see.
It's because then they're liking your stuff or they're slowing down over your stuff, because how the algorithm works on social is it's only showing you stuff that you pay attention to. So it's like if you guys are seeing me, the reality is that most of the time on social, your people are seeing, like 3% of your followers see your posts.
Yeah.
So as long as you're changing up what the content is, and as long as it's in service to the community, it's just things for her, it's not about yourself, they don't complain. And if they do, it's like, Pam, get out of here. We don't have time for this attitude, right?
Yeah.
Because the reason I say 5 times is because you need to make your presence known. And you need to let them know that you're here. And I am not, by the way, this is not 5 times a day where you're talking about your business.
Yeah.
This is 5 times a day where you are offering wisdom and advice that establishes you as an expert.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, wait, you have a thing? Like every 5th or 6th post is you show something that references the course that you created or the work that you did on your own postpartum body, or you worked with a friend or whatever. You have to get real creative about how you're showing up. But that is the thing, like establishing yourself as an expert, using appropriate hashtags, collabing with other people in your industry, going hard here is how you get here. The last thing I would say for testimonials, these 2 you could truly be working on simultaneously, is I would find 6 moms and say, I want to guide you through, I'm going to coach you for free. Because all I'm looking for is the results, but set yourself up for success. Choose 6 moms that actually want to change. Because just finding 6 postpartum moms and then you're like crying in a corner because there were no results, and now you think that remember, focus on what you want it to be. What I want it to be are clients who had a great experience with me. We saw some real change emotionally or physically for them, that now I have these great testimonials. All right? You got this.
Thank you.
But see, you're not going to do how this looks like scalpel versus hatchet or whatever it is I called myself. It changes, the weapon changes every time. Sledgehammer, jackhammer. How this looks is, are you working on this full time?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, I am a Pure Barre instructor as well, so I am splitting time between other things.
So we're going to get to hours and when you focus on them. But what this looks like for me as a scalpel is you say, this is how much time I can devote to this every single week. And you treat that as sacred and you do not mess with it. And no matter what, you are going to chip away at your mile marker. You're going to chip away at that social presence. Talk about batch work. I'm gonna give you some stuff that's gonna help you. But every single day that you're working on this, you committed to those hours, and you've got to be effective when you actually have the time to go.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So if you didn't do that while I was talking for so long, please make sure that you go through and just define the goal, break the goal down into actionable items, and then create your mile markers. So what you just saw me do was create mile markers for her. This is the vibe that we're going for. So the last thing I'm going to ask you to do on page 5 is, again, we talked about distractions, but what is going to throw you off? I wrote, so for me, for this thing that I'm about to do, I'm about to go super hardcore, writing crazy for the next week and a half. Stress is going to throw me off. Getting tired is going to throw me off. My kids are going to throw me off. Nutrition, I say that because in the past, when I would do this to write a book, it's a very emotional process. You're tired when you're working on your business like this. I would feed myself horribly as a way like, oh, if you get this word count, then you get to go get like a chalupa and a nacho bel grande, right? I would like give myself a carrot to dangle that was some like awful food choice for me, which then made me feel like literally physically made me feel like garbage. And now I'm even getting more and more like less energy. So paying attention to what has thrown you off in the past. And then the last thing I wrote, because this is real for me, is what's going to throw me off is thinking that the thing I'm creating is garbage. Because as a creator, I second guess everything. And I'm like, oh, this is the worst. Why am I even trying? This is so embarrassing. And knowing in advance that that's going to pop up means that when it happens, I can be like, nope, we're not even going to do that, dude. Write a garbage thing. Just get the most awful first draft in the world. Just have the crappiest Instagram. Because you notice I didn't tell you to have beautiful Jasmine Star, Jenna Kutcher style Instagram. I said 5 posts a day that serve your audience. I didn't even say they had to be pretty. Yeah. Right? We're obsessed right now. If you look at my Instagram right now, it looks like a dumpster fire. It's so ugly. But our focus, it's hideous. I know. Cece knows. We know it's ugly. It is. It's so ugly. But here's the thing. We made a decision. We're going to get to pretty. But our most important value on social is creating content for you guys. Giving you wisdom, giving you insight. We hear over and over and over how many people go on there to find some motivation, to have me preach to them. I'm creating what you guys are asking for. And I had to choose. Do I want to do 1 post a week and have it be beautiful and perfectly curated? Or is it better to just give you the information? And so I'm choosing to give you the information because it's about you. It's not about my ego. Now, eventually, we're going to get back to pretty. But in the meantime, just know that the content that is there, our only intention is to just serve the community. So be mindful that I didn't say beautiful Instagram. I said an Instagram in service to her and what she needs that establishes you as an expert 5 times a day. Yeah. That's what I said. Yeah. All right. Gotcha. Finding your productive groove. I want you to think about what sets you up for productivity. Maybe for you, it's an intense deadline. Maybe for you, there's people who identified with the idea that vacation, going on vacation and all of a sudden you got all the things done, that was really effective for you. Maybe for you, it's a certain place, a certain sound. Think of a time in your career where you were super productive, where you got a ton done, and then go through this page. Where were you located? Like for me, some of my most productive time is on airplanes. There's no Wi-Fi. There is, but choose not to get it. There's no Wi-Fi. There's like the ambient sound, like it's super loud. It kind of like gives me energy. There's other people around. I'm in my own little space. So where were you located? What did you eat? I know this sounds maybe silly. A lot of people don't think like, oh, if you go have a Thanksgiving dinner right before you're trying to be super productive, or you go have a big dinner, a big lunch, you eat something heavy, you probably weren't that productive or effective or energetic. So go through this. What did you drink? What were you wearing? Okay. I made a decision several years ago that I would never, ever teach again in shoes with a heel of any kind. I'm pretty rare in the specific industry that I'm in that most women are like, they're wearing like a pantsuit on stage. but I physically, I'm so awkward. I can't do it. Like, this is what, why didn't I do this? This is what's happening today. I have to wear flat shoes. I have to wear comfy pants. I have to wear a t-shirt. I can't. So you need to know for some, like if I'm working at the house, I'm in yoga pants. I'm not washing my face. You're lucky if I put deodorant on. I am not getting cute because that's not the point. So do you know what it was that you did that helps you to be productive? The last thing, and this is important, what time of day are you most productive? What time of day?
The Rachel Hollis podcast is hosted by me, Rachel Hollis. Our show is produced by Chelsea Harfouche and edited by Andrew Weller, with additional production support by Sterling Coates. Our executive producer is Cameron Berkman. The Rachel Hollis podcast is a 3% Chance production.